A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Dear students of 11th class, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. You know that we are discussing the representatives of Kingdom Monera, and so far we have thrown light upon the bacteria, their distribution, their shapes and size, and in our previous lecture we have studied other characteristic features of these bacteria. Now today we will study the reproduction in bacteria. It means how the bacteria get multiplied and what are the different types of reproductive methods found in these bacteria. Now, as per the reproduction of bacteria is concerned, bacteria reproduces by the following methods. The first method by which the bacteria reproduce is the vegetative reproduction. Then the second method is the asexual reproduction, while as the third one is the sexual reproduction or genetic recombination. So today we will throw light upon the first two, that is the vegetative reproduction and asexual mode of reproduction in bacteria. The sexual reproduction found in bacteria will be studied in our next lecture tomorrow, inshallah. Now, taking the vegetative mode of reproduction, it occurs by two methods. So you should remember here that the vegetative form of reproduction found in bacteria occurs by two methods. One is the binary fission, while as second is the budding. Regarding the binary fission, this is the commonest and the most important method of reproduction in bacteria, in which the cell elongates followed by formation of transverse wall. This results in the production of two daughter cells. Each daughter cell grows into a new bacterium. So you should understand that the binary fission is nothing but it is the commonest and the most important method of vegetative reproduction, in which the cell elongates and is followed by formation of transverse wall. By the formation of transverse wall, the two daughter cells are formed, and each daughter cell then grows into a new bacterium. Now, the second method of this vegetative reproduction is the budding. In this process, that means in budding, the cell produces outgrowths called buds. So the outgrowths of the cell are formed, which are called buds. Cytoplasm and chromatin material also enter the bud. The bud, after formation, cytoplasm, it is occupied by the cytoplasm and the chromatin material, which later separates from the parent cell by constriction. This bud, after the deposition of cytoplasm and chromatin material, gets separated from the parent cell by constriction. The separated bud takes the form of a new bacterial cell. In this way, a new bacterium is formed, or a new bacterial cell is formed. So this was the vegetative mode of reproduction in bacteria. Now we will take the second method, that is the asexual reproduction. This asexual reproduction occurs by many methods. The first is the endospore formation. So in asexual reproduction of bacteria, endospore formation occurs. So what is this endospore formation? In bacteria like Clostridium, Bacillus, etc. So we will take the two examples of bacteria. One is the Clostridium and Bacillus. In these type of bacteria, cell produces a resistant structure called endospore. So endospore is formed in bacteria like Clostridium and Bacillus, which contains cytoplasm, ribosomes, and DNA. This endospore, a resistant structure which is formed by the cell of these two type of bacteria, contains cytoplasm, ribosomes, and DNA. These endospores are smaller than their parent cell. These endospores which are formed, these are smaller than their parent cell. These are smaller that from the cell from which these are formed, that is the parent cell, and remain dormant. They remain dormant under unfavorable conditions. But on the return of favorable conditions, when the favorable conditions are there, the endospore coat breaks open. The endospore coat breaks open and a new bacterium is produced. So under the unfavorable conditions, this endospore remains dormant, but under the favorable conditions, endospore coat breaks open and new bacterium is produced. Now the second type of this reproduction, the second type of method of asexual reproduction is the conidia formation. C-O-N-I-D-I-A, conidia. In some bacteria, example Streptomyces. We will take the example of Streptomyces. This is a kind of bacteria. So what happens there? In the bacteria like Streptomyces, the filament divides transversely. Filament gets divided transversely into smaller cells, which then produce a chain of conidia. So what happens in the conidia formation? We have taken the example of Streptomyces. The filament divides transversely into smaller cells, which then transform into a chain of conidia. Now the third is the zoospore formation. This zoospore formation of asexual mode of reproduction, it is the common method. Zoospore formation is the common method, and it is found in the bacterium called the rhizobium. So the zoospore formation, you should remember, it is the common method of asexual reproduction in bacteria and is found in rhizobium. Now the fourth type of this asexual mode of reproduction is the cyst formation. C-Y-S-T, cyst formation. So what are these cysts? These are thick-walled spores. These cysts are thick-walled spores and are similar to endospores. These are like the endospores, but are thick-walled. So this cyst formation occurs especially in a type of bacteria called the azotobacter. Azotobacter, azotobacter. So this was all about the this vegetative reproduction and the asexual mode of reproduction in bacteria. Now there remains the sexual mode of reproduction or the genetic recombination of bacteria, which we will study in our next lecture tomorrow, inshallah. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you very much.